everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is Laid Back Friday on the couch, and it has been a long time, little couch. It has been a long time, way too long, for the laid back episode of the Thunder Show. And today we're doing something very interesting. We're doing one wine. I'm going to be answering a slew of questions because I've been really lagging. And today I get to knock out two New Year's resolutions, and here they are. One, trying desperately to get questions back on the show. I know I've failed so many times. So I want to make sure I get questions back part of the Thunder Show on a daily basis, heavily on Fridays. I think the interaction between you and me, even though we do it 1,000 times a day, on an individual basis, on a global level, we don't. And so I want to incorporate that back into the Thunder Show. And number two, my other New Year's resolution is to give California Sauvignon Blanc another really fair shake. And so, as many of you know, and a lot of you bust my chops, I really do believe anywhere is better making Sauvignon Blanc than in California. I do believe Argentina does a better job. I do believe New Zealand does a better job. I do believe Chile does a better job. I do believe France in the Loire Valley does a better job. I pretty much think that everywhere in the world is a better venue for Sauvignon Blanc than California, and I haven't seen too much out of Washington State or Oregon either. So it's just my feeling, it's my preference, it's my own palate, my pal, don't hate. However, I am going to be open-minded, and I'm excited about trying this wine for a couple of reasons. One, Ed Sabragia, who's the winemaker, really one of the builders, took the Beringer legacy of quality wines to a totally different level, is the producer of this wine. Number two, comes with a cool new glass capsule, which is kind of making a quiet little, and they're kind of nice. It's making a little bit of noise. I don't know if it's making a lot of noise, but the glass capsule is kind of interesting. So that's interesting. And number three, because it's $16 US, and everybody knows I hate Vinny Testaverde because he's a traitor. And, that's all. That was not even really number three. We've got the strawberry shortcake bucket in tow today because I'm in a little bit of an 80s girl mood today. I'm going to get it for that statement. Anyway, we're going to taste this wine, we're going to answer some questions, and let's get right into it. You want to know what this is, don't you? You want to know what this is. This is probably one of my most cherished physical possessions in the world. So let me take you back to 1982. A young Gary Vaynerchuk, a 6.5-year-old Gary Vaynerchuk, is learning how to speak English, is learning American culture, and decides to become a New York Jets fan. If you don't know, I was born in Russia, came over here when I was 3 years old, and at that point, the family was not in a place where we could go afford a Wesley Walker or a Mickey Schuler jersey. So what does my fabulous, tremendous, loving mother do? She makes me a Jets jersey. So this, my friends, is my first Jets jersey. It's really cool. I don't want to take it out because it's already mounted. We got to kind of do something because on the back it says Gary in this size and a number 5. Devoted to number 5 as my favorite number. Green is my favorite color, and the Jets is my team since I was 6 years old. And this brings back tremendous memories, and this is what I asked my mom for Hanukkah this year, to shadow box because I've got all these other jerseys. This is the key jersey in the collection. The Gary number 5 Jets jersey. By the way, I wore this for like 4.5 years. When you're small and you don't grow, you can pull that kind of stuff off, and that's what I did. So the questions on today's show range from the Ask Gary application, and so link it up. Yes, it lives in Facebook. Yes, Zuckerberg owes me some cash because I give a lot of Facebook love on the Thunder Show. But if you want to ask a question, you want to be on the Thunder Show, and I'm finally getting caught up. I'm answering a lot of questions, and next week when I'm away with Lizzie, while we're supposed to be vacationing, I will be finishing off all the answers, so I'll get totally caught up. So if you have wine questions, that's where you ask them, and let's get right into it. Sergio Duron on January 3rd. 2008 asks, Gary, we love watching your episodes, but we've developed a bad habit. We can't stop saying things in duplicates now, like sniffy sniff. We take the dog for a walkie walk. We call the parents for a talkie talk, and even use words like sippy sip. Are you aware of a cure? Anything? Thanks for keeping wine drinking fun. Sergio, this is a major American epidemic, and we've been working very feverishly with top scientists, and we have figured out a cure. What you need to do is sit down in front of the television and watch 2.4 minutes of New England Patriots football, and you will stop speaking in this language, because you will be coming out with disgust from the evil head coach and the golden boy quarterback. You will throw up on yourself. Now, you must consume kiwi juice and light black pepper in the kiwi juice and drinking it and gargling it, as we do on the Thunder Show, in this style, during that 2.4 minutes. Did I say 0.4? And then, my friend, you and all the other Vaniacs who are watching, who are drinking, who are enjoying, will stop duping it up, because the Pats will cure all of your problems, because again, you will then get focused on them and be in disgust mode. Hope that answers your question. Anita Vico Paljamaki writes, Anita, I'm sorry, but don't worry, a lot of people have butchered Vaynerchuk through the years, so this is nothing personal. It's just business. I just watched your episode on Pinot Gris. This is from back on, January 2nd, so went back and watched the archives. It's fun to watch the old episodes, Mott. And I'm wondering why Pinot Gris has such a bad name for itself in America. In Finland, Pinot Gris is usually associated with Alsace and the Pinot Grigios that come from the northern parts of Italy. Nothing spectacular I've come across, but quite drinkable, pairs well, and is plain and simple white with fish and food and other things. So, do you in America got some sort of oversupply of bad Pinot Gris? AVP, as I'll call you, Anita. I don't know if Pinot Gris has necessarily, and I don't remember what I said on that show that made you kind of come out with that question. I don't know if it has necessarily a horrible name in the U.S. market, but what it does is has almost no name. People don't talk about Pinot Gris. We do talk about Pinot Grigio, of course, there's the same, but people just aren't drinking a lot of Pinot Gris wines, a lot of Alsatian wines, a lot of Pinot Gris out of Oregon, who are making some really nice Pinot Gris. They're just not super in demand, and one of the things that the Thunder Show and this show is all about is getting people to try different things. And when we did do the Pinot Gris episode, I know a lot of people emailed me and thanked me and are now drinking and consuming and getting more into Pinot Gris. So I don't know if it's a bad name, more or less, or a situation of no name. I just don't think it's branded very well. I don't think a lot of people drink them. I don't think a lot of people know them. If you're speaking about Pinot Grigio, I'm just throwing this out there, it's a highly popular grape in America. Italian Pinot Grigio sell basically like they've got the cure inside. And so they're very popular wines, very sought after. I think they're very poorly made as a whole, what's in the U.S. market. And I always talk about better Pinot Grigios from Friuli or Trentino, trying to get people to try different things outside of the brands they're accustomed to, whether it's Chris or Santa Margarita or Peter Zemmer or things of that nature. So a very interesting grape that I think has the ability to make dynamic, interesting wines, especially with fish, as you said, and something that's a little bit perplexing why they don't have bigger demand or interest in the States. I do believe that it is a grape with this movement, with things like Wine Library TV, with the internets, with all sorts of different options of learning. I think it's a grape that has interesting potential in the future. All right, I got pretty serious there, Matt. I almost bored you. I think were you sleeping? Let's get into this wine. Right off the top, Sauvignon Blanc that's this golden is pretending to be Chardonnay. So right off the bat, stop fronting. All right, I just had to say that. A very golden color for a for a Sauvignon Blanc. Excuse me. Just enormous color for a Sauvignon Blanc. Let's give it a little bit of a sniffy sniff. Aromatically, it's kind of interesting. At first, I was going to say it was aromatically challenged, but then on second sniff, I've been proven wrong. As it opens up, there's a great honeysuckle kind of component coming through here that I'm enjoying. I also get a very heavy layer of cantaloupe, which is interesting and intriguing. Let's give it a whirl. This is the Home Ranch Sauvignon Blanc. Very creamy, almost like creme fraiche. I'm looking for the caviar. Except there's like a buttery. I feel like Bruce Banner I'm starting to get mad. Did the Hulk get mad, get going, and then ever calm down and not go into Hulk mode?
Must have turned back.
Not when he turned back, but sometimes he and then he goes.
I never saw
They never did that on the show. That was my favorite show. Talk about back then when I was 5 and 6. Anyway, I feel like the Oak Monster's like, like trying to pop through, like his head through back here. It's kind of like, it's kind of like the Oak Monster's back here, like just about, but then it goes back a little. What I might want to call Jack in the Box Oak Monster action on this wine. It looks like it's just about to come. It's like, remember you'd be like, that's what happens when you play with Jack in the Box when you're 13. Anyway, a very interesting wine. To me, right off the bat, on the nose it was acting that way, and now on the mouthfeel it's acting this way. This is Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay. This is acting a little Chardonnay-esque for me. This, my friends, is exactly the problem with California's Sauvignon Blancs, in my opinion. I'm not looking for this kind of oakiness, creaminess, vanilla action in a Sauvignon Blanc. It's not what I've come for. You don't pay $19, yeah, that's what they're charging in New York City for some movies now, to see a horror film and get the love fest. I mean, it's not what you've paid for. I love the love fest. My wife will tell you that I like girly movies more than her. It's true. However, here I planned for crisp cleanness. Bring out the sushi. I want Sauvignon Blanc. I want it to be clean, on point, really aromatic and interesting, and really, not spicy, but, just clean and simple and acidic and to the point. And what I get is something that's acting very, very half pregnant. A wine that's acting like, hey, I'm Chardonnay. It's like that 12-year-old girl that's trying to act 17. You can't pull it off. Relax. You'll get there. Sabraji Sauvignon Blanc, you're not a Chardonnay. Be a Sauvignon Blanc. And that's what's really bothering me with this wine. I mean, I'm really shocked, actually, too. Curious wine. Spectator loved it. 90 points. It's kind of tasty and it's got some interesting flavors going on. Getting cantaloupe with a big scoop of vanilla ice cream and then, snorting extract of vanilla could be interesting for some people. And I think this wine has some sort of passion fruit, has a little hints of mango, has the pedigree and the formula, the ingredients to be a wine that some people would enjoy. I, however, am not one of those people. I'm going to score this wine 84 points for confusing me. And that's about that. I don't know. Well, I'm going to pour myself a little bit of glass. Maybe just see if anything happens as I continue to answer these questions. Ironic that it really went exactly textbook to what bothers me about Sauvignon Blanc. Like, to the point where I just looked real quick while I was just talking, like, rewind that. I actually looked down to see if, there was some Chardonnay blended. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Thank you. Anyway, Dale Cruz writes on December 23rd, Gary, I thought you were going to answer a question on every episode of The Thunder Show. What happened to that? Well, Dale, one, besides that you being an awesome Vaniac, big time up in the Boston area, a guy that I communicate with often. I'm trying to do that in 2008, and I'd really prefer if you'd be supportive instead of busting my chops. All right? Sean Sato Velion on December 19th wrote, hey Gary, or Mott for that matter. Mott, it's not bad. I really enjoy, or is that kind of like, or Mott, or anybody really? Or do you feel like it's like you're second?
I think I'm second.
See? You're an optimist. I knew I loved you. Anyway, hey Gary or Mott for that matter. For that matter. How do we play into that? Anyway, I really enjoyed the episodes last week that were released around lunchtime. This was, I guess, when we pre-taped all those shows in New York. The early release allowed me to watch while taking my lunch break. I'd be willing to be a lot of people. He'd be willing to be a lot of people. I'm the last to talk about Graham. I'd be willing to bet, I think, a lot of people would appreciate the same thing. I think you probably taped the day before anyway, right? Incorrect. Same day, always. Except when I'm traveling. Well, consider this a request for early release every day. I know it would mean a 3 to 4 p.m. release on the East Coast, but please, question mark. SSV, as I'd like to call you right now. Sean, no, I said I'd call you SSV. SSV, Mott is going to kick your ass. Mott likes coming in later. Mott's got a different schedule. Mott's a 1 to 9 guy. He likes that. It's a good schedule for him. He likes the schluffy schluff, as I like to call it. He likes his Z's. Probably goes to sleep a little later. He likes to stay up late and play the Halo with all the other Vaniacs. I heard there's some big games brewing. Did we put that together yet?
No.
Max is bullshitting, huh? He's got all the gamer tags.
Does he?
Yeah. Mott, follow up on that. Then we'll link it up and make a big announcement. Anyway, Mott's going to kick you right in your face and in your neck. He's getting really mad back there. So, I would honestly ask you to email Mott, cmott, M-O-T-T, and give him your apology. And to answer your question, we basically tape same day. Mott rolls in around 1, 2, 3, we tape, we go right to work, we get it out. There's so many people watching from around the world now, the Thunder Show. We are international, my man. I feel like Don King. You know, we are international. Situation. And so, there's a lot of people that are affected by the time zones, so we'll keep bouncing around, but, you know, we're based here, this is how we do it. You know, I apologize. Maybe you could be a day behind. You can watch lunch the next day if you like. But you don't want to, do you? I understand. And finally, Jeff Bettikinston says, "Hi Gary, on December 5th, I was curious if you had gone shopping and bought those wines to drink and found them as disappointing." I think this was the episode where I went shopping and taped the show as I was a shopper and flat out picked the wines as if I was shopping, and we really did poorly. Mott's like laughing at me. We did really poorly. I didn't like the wines. Despite the fact you learned and improved your palate some more, would you go through with drinking them, or would you put them aside? Love the show again. Diane Walnuts? Interesting stuff. Or Danny? I don't know. Anyway, JB or D-Dub, I would and have often, and this is probably why I'm answering your question last, because I think, you know, people watch the Thunder Show not only for the ridiculous antics, I don't think that many people actually watch for that, but for the education value that Wine Library TV brings them. We give you something that I think is going to bring a lot of education value that in 2 years I have not talked about. Many a time, my friends, have I had a wine at home that I did not like. And though you probably think I roll with 9 million bottles in my apartment or in my house or what have you, with wine to spare, and the gods and the wine girls are pouring it for me. Lizzie got rid of the wine girls. I actually embrace having wines that I'm not super fond of and really break it down. What I really like to do, like a wine like this, if I was to have this, as you can see, I already poured myself another. That's kind of cool. I almost did what I would naturally do, which would be like, okay, not my style, all that things I said about it, kind of made fun of it. You know, I would pour another glass, I'd come back an hour later, 2 hours later, I would do enormous amounts of sniffy sniff, I would what I like to call work with the wine, especially older wines that get funky. Sometimes they're in cellar temperature. I really go with it, you know, warm it up, really work with it, and really embrace the opportunity to taste things and really break them down and put them in my mindset and understanding my palate, become one with my pal, and really work together in breaking down the wine, understanding the wine, and really helping me the next time I cross that path to understand what I was doing, understand what I was tasting, to understand what I'm looking for, what I don't like, how much, how little. And to me, that journey of having a wine that you're not fond of and really working with it, enough of the dumping out the drain. People email me, like, why? You paid for it. I mean, work it. You know, leave it open for a night. Come back to it the next day. Leave it open for 2 nights. Come back to it 2 days later. Play with it. You paid for it. Paid, play. You can learn so much evolving and playing and fooling around with a wine over a couple of days. So, to answer your question, that's what I do. My question to you guys is, very simply, what do you have lined up for the weekend? And all you football fans, 4 predictions. Who's winning this weekend? Giants? I think so, Mott. You know? Who else? Jaguars? I think the Jags are going to go back to Pittsburgh and beat them again. Chargers in a huge way? Absolutely. They're playing the Titans. And, what's the other NFC game?
Seattle.
Washington, Seattle. A lot of emotion, Ma. That's a tough one to call. Only with my heart, not my brain, am I going to pick Washington in that scenario. Those are my 4 picks. What are yours? And for the people that don't watch football and don't want to give predictions, what do you have lined up for this weekend? Because once again, I roll into the Yenta mode. I want to know what you're doing. And I want to thank you for watching The Thunder Show on a laid-back Friday. And boy, does it feel good to be back. Because you, with a little bit of me, we are changing the wine world. Whether they like it, I got caught, or not.